Okay, so the participants are Sapin, me, Mark and Andrea Oz and Sanjay were involved in this, Matteo, and one guy I didn't put here was Matt Hemmings, who did an awful lot of the heavy lifting. So Matt and I are involved in this. Now the goal is a central XOS controlling local cord racks. There is an animation here which is evidently not loading, but the use, oh, here we are. The use case here, man, the internet here is terrible. Anyhow, the use case here is that there's a global XOS is controlling a bunch of local cord racks. This guy goes off, he activates, he asks for a service, which a red service, which activates the blue and green here. The global XOS does all that, and then when he moves, the red service moves to this cord rack down here. An awful lot of the functionality of this has since been folded into ONAP and the Orchestration Brigade, but we're still interested in doing this because another global use case is when you have a bunch of locations around the country, and there's a global service where clients will pop up in various places, and then what you want is to immediately populate the cord rack nearest to the service and have that and have the client serve from there. And of course, if you've got somebody comes up far away, you go to an existing service, start to serve them there, and then immediately migrate the service back to wherever he was. And if a site fails, which these are, and if a site fails, switch back to the first one, and then again find a nearby site to populate this. And of course, you'd like to be able to do this not just at a few sites in North America, but all over the world, and with many sites and with many clients joining and leaving the site. So the hierarchical XOS would control all of this stuff, populate the sites with services to at client requests. Go on. Now, what's happened? Well, the status is that global XOS is actually significantly simpler than cord, because we don't need to run a rack. We certainly don't need to run a network. All this thing is basically doing is just making local requests to the local cord sites, to the cord sites. And so we made the decision. We spent Matt and I spent a fair amount of time trying to simplify cord to do what we wanted it to do, rather than or Sapin, rather than and found out that this was actually a rather difficult thing to factor. Now, this was in the middle of the 4.0 build when there was a significant refactoring of cord going on. So we wanted, so it will perhaps time to revisit this decision. But Sapin and I actually decided to start from Xproto, which is Sapin's declarative style of declaring services, and build around that, rather than trying to strip stuff away from cord to make what we want. So that we put on hold, and while Sapin was busy with the release and doing the Xproto work, and we want to restart it soon, depending upon what you like. So there you go. That's the status. If you're interested, please come and see me or Sapin.